All right, we're going to start the demonstration off today just introducing you to the IronCAD user interface. Over here on the left we have the scene browser, and that contains all your part history and part and assembly data. Below that, kind of tucked in there, is the properties panel, and the properties will give you a context-sensitive list of settings and options for whatever you have selected. Then there's a search panel here, and that allows you to search through your assembly for part names or feature names or any other data that's attached to the design. Up across the top here we have our ribbon bar. There'd be things like features, sketch, surface, assembly, etc. and on. And there you can see all our commands are available through the ribbon bar here. And then down below is our unique interface to IronCAD is our catalog browser. And our catalog browser contains shapes and parts, advanced shapes, sheet metal, which is also drag and drop, tools where there be fasteners, bearings, gears, things like that, animation, and the rest of these are materials. So just to jump in and get started, the way you typically start a design in IronCAD is just one of these base features. I'm going to drag out a cylinder here, and I can select on it and get these red handles, which I can pull and push to resize the geometry in an arbitrary way, or I can type in an exact value and adjust the shape accurately. I can continue on bringing shapes in. You can see I can snap an existing shape onto another shape, and again can pull and push. Can snap it to the center here, snap this to the bottom, put another value here. I can grab a couple handles and resize symmetrically, which is handy. Put in a value there. I can select at the face level and put in a chamfer. I can again select these corner points here, and I'll put a blend on this part.
And while Kevin's doing that, to apply the chamfer, he simply just selected the S key, and that brings up a context-sensitive menu as to the commands that you need based on the operation that you're doing.
That's right, yeah. And to continue on, once you have a blend set created, you can select it and get these quick tabs for editing individual fillets there. Okay, so beyond drag and drop, we also have a sketch-based design, so I can come in here and put an extrude on the part and place a sketch plane here, and I can draw 2D geometry there to represent my sketch. Put in some exact values here. Okay, and you'll see there's some dimensions here that pop up, and you can allow you to edit the geometry there. You can also turn off this maintain in conditions, and this will allow you to change the angle of the dimension as it comes across, or the angle of the geometry, I should say. All right, we got our sketch laid out there. We can finish that shape, and it'll pop us back into the interface of the extrude command. And we'll just go through all in both directions, and we want to remove material. You can hit OK there, and it makes the cut on the part.
A couple things to note here is that we offer you a variety of ways to design. So Kevin started by just dragging and dropping components out of the catalog, but also was able to, if you need to do an actual sketch, we have all those tools available. And one thing you may have noticed when drawing the sketch, there wasn't any need to have to apply dimensions like you see in other systems. You just sketch and move on.
Okay. Next, we're going to add a hole for the wheel of this caster, and put size in there. And we have another means of positioning shapes with 3D Smart Dimensions. So I can come in here, place a dimension from this hole to the adjacent surfaces. And I can right-click on one of those and say Edit all of them. And we can put in the values that we need. Hit OK, and it positions the hole precisely. And then we'll go ahead and shell out the casing here. Just right-click and hit Shell. And it hollows that out. And you notice it created a bit of a boss here around the hole. And I don't want that to show up in the part. I want the holes just to be through the side walls. So I can come over here to our scene browser. And you can see I've got part 1 here. This is the part we've created so far. I can expand that. And this just goes through the history of our shapes that we've created. And I can come down here to this H cylinder and just reposition that after the shell. And it'll reorder that feature so that the shell comes last, or I'm sorry, the hole comes last. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and draw in the wheel. Start spin shape with that, and we want to create a new standalone part. I can put in a cross section there as well, and we have a 3-point option that I like. You can just pop that in by 3 points, and it'll pop in the section. And I'm going to show you a tool that is critical to IronCAD, which is our tri-ball positioning tool, this thing here. What this allows you to do is to position just about anything in IronCAD. Right now I'm going to position this cross-section grid right onto the center of the part, but this tri-ball tool is critical to the software. It's used for positioning just about anything, whether it be assemblies, parts, features, faces, lights, cameras, whatever have you. So I'll go ahead and place that there, and I'll project some geometry off the part and then continue my sketch here for the wheel.
You notice you get that nice smart snap as you're drawing the profile, snapping right to the 3D geometry to give you instant feedback.
You bet. So put a center line down here for the spin axis, and we're ready to finish that up. So it takes us back to the spin command, shows us a preview of the wheel. We'll go ahead and hit OK on that. And since this is a separate part, I like to add maybe a different color just to differentiate the parts from each other. You can see now we have a part 2 in the scene browser. Now what's nice about IronCAD is you can have all your parts in one file. With other systems you have a part per file. So if you have 100 parts, you've got 100 files to manage. With IronCAD, everything's just in one, all the 3D models are in one shot, one file, very easy to manage. So another nice feature of IronCAD is what we call profile handles, and you can see the outline of the profile that I drew, and even out here in a 3D mode, I can grab these handles and I can resize them wherever I want. I can also right-click on them and put in exact change values. So I'm going to take off a millimeter off there for some clearance and do the same over here. And then I want to open up this feature here, this profile for the through hole. And then finally I'll go ahead and put some blends on that part, hit OK, and we got our wheel. So fast and easy, not a problem in IronCAD. The next thing I want to add in is a little bushing here, and I can snap that to the center of the wheel, drop it in as this new part, and again,
how did you one quick question, Kevin. How did you drop it in as a part?
Oh, you right-click and drag it out rather than left-click and drag, and that gives you a new part option rather than just adding the cylinder to the wheel. So any kind of right-click out of a catalog will give you options that aren't available with the left-click. just put our through hole in there. And maybe we want to color that thing as well. Let's see here. Get kind of a whitish color. We can select that part, turn on the tribal. The tribal can also be used to mirror features across the design. So I'm going to go ahead and set the tribal to the center of the part, and then right-click here and mirror it, and it'll mirror across. And you'll notice that these have a little white symbol next to them on the parts. That means they're linked. So anything I do to one, if I change it, change one part, it'll change the other. If I resize the part, it would resize both of them. So that's the linking that's involved there. It's very handy. Next thing I'll do is I'll come over to our tools catalog. I'm going to drop out the fastener tool and just drag that on the circular edge that I want to put the fastener through. I go to metric here, and you put an M10 by 65. We'll add a nut and a washer. We just hit OK there, and it generates the hardware for us. And again, I can use the tri-ball to position the nut and the washer. Just use that to tighten that right up. So again, the tri-ball is used for positioning just about everything. And the last thing we'll need is a post on the top of the caster casing. And I believe those dimensions here. And 15 there. Okay.